Hi, everyone. Today, from the chapter DBMS of Information Technology, we are going to learn the topics which are information processing, data and information, data versus information. What is the database? Why do we need a database? And the concepts of database. So, let us start. So, our first topic is information processing. See, understanding information processing. Information processing is a sequence of steps through which raw data is collected, processed, and transformed into meaningful information. See, information processing is a step or is a phase where information is processed, which is the raw data is collected, processed, and transformed into meaningful information. The steps which include in information processing are input, processing, output, and storage. Input. Input is nothing but the raw data that we have to get. And processing. Processing is where we convert it into an information or transforming it into an information. And output. Output is the meaningful information which we get from the input, as well as from the raw data. And after that will be the storage. All that meaningful information must be stored in a place, and that place will be the storage area. This is what is information processing. Next we will see what is data and information. Data. What is data and information? What is data? Data is a collection of raw facts, figures, or symbols without context or meaning. See, data is where we get everything raw. Means nothing will be framed properly. Nothing will have a certain meaning. For example, 85 is a number, random number. RAM is a random name, and math is a random subject, which there's no meaning regarding any of the words is given. Whereas in the information, see what is information is. Information is processed data that has meaning, context, and can be used for decision-making. See, information is the processed or the transformed type of data. The data, when it undergoes a process or a transformation, it gets converted into information. And that information contains a certain meaning, and it also contains context, and which can be used or will be used in decision-making. Example, Ram scored 85 marks in math. So this sentence will give you a complete information about what Ram has scored, in which subject, and how much. So this will be the main thing about what data is and what is information. Next, we will see data versus information. So what will be the differences between data and information? Data. See here? Here you can see the table of what are the aspects of data and as well as the aspects of information. Data. Data are text
and numerical value, like certain numbers, or anything else. Whereas, information is the output of processed data. When that data, which is in the text or numerical values, when it gets processed, and it is perfectly put into a meaningful sentence, then it is said to be an information, not only sentence, but a meaningful phrase. It could be said as information. Next, data can be collected in an unsequential manner. This means that data can be collected in any manner. Like if you take a sentence, or if you take an example which is given in the information, you can check here, information. A student scored 85 marks in math, 90 in science, and 75 in English. There is a complete sentence or a complete phrase of information. Whereas, in data, you can check 85, 90, 95 marks without the context. See, without the context, randomly we can collect the data, whereas information is presented in a meaningful form. See, in the example, if you can check, it is very meaningful and it is very particular to particular subject. Next, data is an output form, data is an output form, data is input or output form. See, the next one is data is an output form. Output form. It can be put out in a meaningful manner by information, which undergoes processing. And that same information is the output form of data. Next, data does not have any specific purpose, means data cannot be used in decision-making, or like in any other reference type of thing. Telling any reference to any person cannot be done by using data, whereas information carries a very meaningful manner that will help others. If we tell particular information that will help the opposite persons to understand it in a better way. But data cannot do that. And meaning, information carries a meaning that has been assigned to interpret data. So, whatever meaning the information carries, that will be assigned to interpret a particular thing or a data. Next, data does not help in decision-making. Yes, that is absolutely true, because there will be no specific particular meaning to the information that will be given, or to the data that will be given. Whereas information helps in the decision-making, where information consists of a very bright and light meaning that would help in decision-making. The following examples are given that is in the data. The example is 85, 90, 75. It is not in a sequential phrase which does not grab any information for the three of the numerical values. Whereas, in the information for the example, a student scored 85 in math, 90 in science, and 75 in English. This helped it to give particular meaning to the phrase which has formed in the information. So, what data and information differences have are the data will not have any meaning for its numerical values or its text, whereas information has a particular meaning for the phrases formed by joining the numerical values and the text from the data. So here we can clearly see that data, the information, is nothing but the processed data. From the data, only the information will be carried or will be coming. Next, so this is the main differences between data and information. Next, we will see about what is a database. See, database is an organized collection of data that can easily be accessed, managed, and updated. See in the word database only, we can understand what a database can be. See, database means you know data, we have learned what data is. Now, you might already know in general terms what is the meaning of base. Base is a place where base is nothing but a type of storage area. Base. See, so it says that data is stored in a particular place, which is called a database. This is what a database is. Database is an organized collection of data that can easily be accessed. See, here access is very easy. Managing is also easy, and it can be updated on time. These three are the main plus points of database. Next, if we take an example, a company's database may include tables for products, employees, and financial records. See, tables here says that a particular sheet for particular products and its price and all its information for a company, and a table for employment. A sheet for employees means the sheet will include what the employees are assigned for, which work, and how much are they paid, and what are their feedback about the clients. What are the feedback from clients to the employees, and all such type of information will be in the sheet or in the table of employees. Then will be the financial records sheet or table. In this table, all the information related to the financial records of the company will be stored. So this particular or individual tables or sheets will be stored in a main storage area that is called a database. So database is nothing but a collection of data. Organized data collection means see here tables of products, employees, and financial records all are correctly organized in a particular specific way. Thus, all these include or will be collected and stored in a place or in a storage area that is called a database. This is what a database is. Then we can see organizations use database management system. So, management system of such database is called a database management system, which we will learn further. Next, see what they have given here is organizations use database management system like Microsoft Access. These are organizations Microsoft Access, FileMaker Pro, MySQL. No, these are not organizations. These are the names of some DBMS systems like the Microsoft Access, FileMaker Pro, MySQL, Oracle database as backend to store data. So the front end will be clean and clear, crystal and clear, but the back end will include mainly a database, which will help them to store all their company's data and information. So this is what a database is. And next, we will see the topic. That is, why do we need a database? See, for companies, or for anyone who want to actually run a business, run any extra greater activities, which will help them in their day-to-day life, will necessarily need a database. Many organizations, NGOs, will mainly be using these databases, and even large MNCs, multinational companies, will also be using these databases to store all their collected organized data, because everything can't be stored individually. All need a database. So, why do we need a database is first one for handling non-numerical data. RDBMS, that is Relational Database Management System, is far stronger at handling non-numerical data like names, descriptions compared to Excel. So Excel is nothing but user-friendly spreadsheet, or a sheet which collects only small data sets, calculations it can do, and it can analyze what the information is given. But a database is not like an Excel. Database and Excel have a very big difference. See, what is that main big difference? Is storing, managing, and querying. See, in the Excel, only small data sets, small calculations, and a pinch of analysis can only be done. Whereas in database, it is a very structured system for storing, means large amount of data can be stored in database and it can be managed. Large amount of data can be managed and it can be queried in large volumes related to data. So that is the reason why Relation DBMS is far stronger at handling. We'll learn about what is Relational Database Management System in the next coming sessions. At handling non-numerical data, like name and descriptions compared to Excel. So large amount of data inputs can be given or can be processed and managed in database. But in Excel, in small amounts or in small sets of data can only be managed. The second point will be establishing data relations. Relations among data is not possible in set-to-set in Excel, while RDBMS allows it enabling information derivation. What this point says is the establishment or establishing data relations is nothing, but whenever we use a database, it does not just store data, simply does not store data, but it also creates connections that are the relationships between different pieces of data. So they can sense, they can make some sense together, means it converts the pieces of data into an informational phrase where it can be understood easily by the users again. So the database never doesn't store data simply, but also creates connections between the pieces of data. So that is what the second point says. And the third point is deriving information. A relational database can understand how lists and objects relate, deriving information from two or more lists. So any database can or has the capacity to understand how lists and objects relate with each other by taking the information from two or more lists. So it grabs the information from any two or more lists and understands it about how the lists and objects relate to each other. In a relational database, we will learn about relational database further. So just remember why we need a database in these 3 points. Next, after this, we'll go on to the topic that is components of a database. This is the last topic of this video. So please check this out. Components of a database. The main components of a database are just 4 things. That are, first one is the users, second will be the database application, third one will be the DBMS, that is Database Management System, and the fourth one will be the database. So in the first one, that is users, The types of users must be important, will be very important in a component of a database. So, component of a database will include a database administrator, system developer, end users, or etc. The companies will be the end users because they will only have the access to store data or any other thing. But the database administrator and system developer will be the persons who will actually manage the DBMS in the back end. Next, second one will be the database application, programs used to interact with the database. Example, forms, reports that can be personal for the personal use, for departmental use, enterprise or internal programs. So, database application is where the interaction will be there for the programs with the databases, like forms, tables, reports, sheets, etc. These will be the place where programs and the database will firstly meet each other. Means this is the place where the data will be given to the database. The raw data will be given to the database. And these programs may be for personal, maybe of personal programs, departmental, like departmental includes companies' programs, or it can be of any other programs, like for an enterprise, for a business, strategical company, or an internal company. Next, the third point will be the database management system. This is nothing but a software that allows us to design, create, and manage database access. So, database access means whatever you are able to access in a database will be managed by the database management system. It is simply a software that will help you in defining what is it, and it will help you to create it and manage it by giving access to particular people or particular users. Examples of these DBMS management systems are MS Access, Microsoft Access, MySQL, and Oracle Database. Next will be, the fourth point will be database. Database is nothing but, already I have told you, that is nothing but collection of logical data. Whatever the data is raw, that will be processed into an information, and that information will be linked or interconnected, or will be made with connections to each other, which will become logical, and thus, it will become the logical data. Thus, database can be said as collection of logical data. So this is what components of a database are. So that's it for this video. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next part. Thank you.